Continuing from the previous episode 2350. Gorgeous flames and gray-white poisonous mists of death lingered in the entire field full of holes, and countless black hole vortexes emerged. How is it possible? Looking at the domain of poisonous world that was beginning to collapse, the filthy poisonous girl stood blankly on the spot, and the poisonous beast behind her was also dying, but she released a gentle breath to protect herself. Boom! The scorching flames swept through, and the gray-white poisonous mist of death gas was actually turned into ashes by its burning, and a stinging pain deeply touched the filthy poisonous girl. No, impossible. The Buddha's anger reincarnated and bloomed, and dazzling and hot energy emerged, dazzling, carrying a violent energy storm, completely blasting the field of the filthy and poisonous woman, and waves of terrifying fluctuations actually whistled. At this moment, the people around the altar square looked up with great difficulty, looking at Xiao Yan, whose body was surrounded by a fiery storm, and the filthy and poisonous girl whose face was pale, with no blood on her skin, even a gloomy look. The shriveled horror face. Give me death. Just when the victory and defeat were decided, the eyes of the filthy poisonous girl unexpectedly showed a dark red color, and then on the shriveled and sunken skin, countless gray-white flames suddenly ignited, and under Xiao Yan's gaze, they turned into blast off for a bolt of lightning. Boom! Facing this anger-filled blow from the filthy poisonous girl, Xiao Yan clenched his fists with a calm expression, and the thick blue dragon scales combined with the holy flame to form a surging fire fist, and punched out. The turbulent attack seemed to have some kind of terrifying power that could penetrate the poisonous fog, swiping along the sky, and in the blink of an eye, it completely hit the filthy poisonous girl. Peefed! From the corners of the filthy poisonous girl's mouth, a mouthful of gray-white blood spurted out, and her gorgeous body dripped down like a deflated cloth bag. The strange blood scattered from the edge of his lips, looking miserable, and even the entire body seemed to have lost all strength, and it shot at the center of the altar, the stone seat of the three palaces. Peefed! Immediately, when the fire fist disappeared, the flame storm behind Xiao Yan shook violently, and a palpitating feeling came out spontaneously. It seems that when she touched the filthy poisonous girl, something strange was brought back along her delicate body. Insect? Looking at the flesh and blood above his fists, and then looking at the filthy poisonous girl falling down below, Xiao Yan's eyes suddenly locked on the Yaoyue Palace master. What a simple guy. The saint has such a high-level help. I'm afraid this time. Many powerful people in the Poison God Palace below nodded. At this moment, no one could underestimate this guy named Xiao Yan. Brother Xiao Yan's strength has indeed become much stronger. Zuner sat on the stone seat and saw that nothing happened to Xiao Yan in the arena, and immediately pressed her chest gently with both hands. Something's not quite right. The little medical fairy on the side did not have the slightest look of joy. Instead, there was an extremely strong fear in her beautiful eyes. Sister Zuner, if something goes wrong in a while, Senior Jingyue will send you out of here. After you leave, don't come back. After taking a good rest, seeing the filthy poisonous girl who was getting closer and closer, the little doctor bit her silver teeth and couldn't help but look at Palace Master Jingyue. There is obviously some strange creature in the body of the filthy poisonous woman, and only the two of them can detect that kind of creature. Crack! The filthy and poisonous girl fell to the ground, but no one caught her delicate body. The whole shriveled and delicate body slammed on the altar in front of the Yaoyue Palace master, and a huge pit tens of meters deep gushed out. Quote. When this kind of thing happened, no one at the scene made a sound, and they all quietly looked at several high-level officials above the altar. Demon Moon Palace poisonous girl, lost. The situation should be clear by now. The old man in charge of the overall situation squinted and glanced at Yaoyue, then turned around, ignoring the life and death of the filthy and poisonous girl. Leng Qingchen and Leng Yuaning in the distance looked dignified, and their hearts were chilled for a while. Haha! Yaoyue Palace Master, this is what your Yaoyue Palace cultivated. The so-called genius with poison god qualifications. It seems that it is nothing more than that now. After a long time, an inexplicable powerful force poured out, the coercion of heaven and earth came, and the whole world was filled with a sense of collapse. Yaoyue was calm, and there was no movement. Holy Maiden, release the holy elixir of all poisons and declare the will of the poison *** to the world. Starting today, our Poison God Palace will welcome the fourth Poison God after tens of thousands of reincarnations. Palace Master Jinyu's eyes were frantic, full of support, and looked at the many core backbones above the square. Poison Pill. Kai. Little Dr. Immortal took one step forward, and an ancient emerald green medicinal pill rose slowly within her body and scattered out from her red lips and jade mouth. The breath of the ancient and powerful Poison God spread like ripples, and the terrifying pressure made the presence of Poison God Palace belong. Except for the three Palace Masters and a few strong people, the rest of the body trembled, and all the power in the body was out of control. Bow down directly. Yayue, what are you arguing about so far? After doing all this, Jingyue turned around with a tone of accountability. Okay, very good. Ha ha ha. At this moment, Yao Yu gently got up from the stone seat, then looked at the little medical fairy with the reincarnation seal and the holy pill of 10,000 poisons, and clapped her palms. This guy. Xiao Yan and Zuner surrounded Xiao Yishen together, watching Yao Yu's strange behavior all the time. Peefed. With a bang, a slight voice sounded, but it made the strong people in the field have a tingling feeling of death on their scalps. To actually fail, it really cost me so much effort in vain. Crack. Yayue stretched out her palm and sucked slightly into the deep hole in front of her. The filthy poisonous girl with a gray face reappeared in everyone's sight. Lord, Master, I'm wrong. On Yaoyu's palm, a faint yellow light emerged, pouring into the body of the filthy poisonous woman, and then seemed to be communicating and asking for something. Come on, it won't hurt anymore. Yaoyu's palm is pulling the filthy poisonous girl's throat, with a harmless smile on her face. She looks extremely kind, but in the eyes of the filthy poisonous girl, this guy is as frightened as a demon. Crack. With a sound, the palm of the hand twisted slightly, the filthy poisonous girl's throat was forcibly twisted open, blood spurted out, her pupils shrank tightly, and she looked terrified and terrified. The sound of the broken bones was particularly harsh, and at the same time, the filthy and poisonous girl's mouth was gently opened, and a yellow bug the size of a finger crawled out, with a frightening fluctuation. Be careful. At the moment when the yellow bug appeared, an indescribable depression suppressed everyone, and their breathing slowed down. But one thing is certain, the filthy poisonous girl died, and she still died in the hands of the Yaoyue Palace Master. Whoosh! After so many years of planning, I never thought that today would be ruined because of you guys. But it doesn't matter. After today the entire Poison God Palace will be dominated by me. Ha ha ha! An arrogant sneer sounded, and before Xiao Yan and the others could make a move, the countless figures suppressed by the Xiaoyi immortal poison pill slowly exploded, and yellow worms the size of fingers, like silkworms they crawled out of their bodies, and then slowly gathered towards Yayue. Among the finger-sized poisonous insects, there is no other power, but only a majestic power that is pure to the limit. Guru. At this moment, Xiao Yan and Zuner couldn't help but turn pale. So many poisonous insects surging, the energy contained in them has already reached the point where the world can learn from it. And now the entire Poison God Palace, apart from a few people present, almost all the others are controlled by Yaoyue. This is a grand ceremony, and it is also a way to achieve a poisonous god, but there is still a trace of suspense about who will die. N. Continuing from the previous episode 2351. Owner. Raising their arms and shouting, the yellow monster poisonous insects poured out from the bodies of everyone, gathered in front of Yaoyue, and then almost all the powerful people in the Poison God Palace raised their heads, and their pupils were filled with a strange yellow ripple. He got up and cast a very respectful look at the Yaoyue Palace Master, and spoke humbly. This is really despicable, to actually plant poison in the bodies of so many people from the same sect. At this moment, Palace Master Jingyue nodded slightly, and immediately stepped out, together with Xiao Yan to protect the little medical fairy, but only she herself knew that the purpose of this election was this. This lunatic actually hides from us, and secretly controls so many Poison God Palace powerhouses. This is Poison God. Yaoyue, you actually broke into the sleeping place of the Poison God without authorization to steal the poison. You are guilty. The chest of the old man who was in charge of the overall situation was filled with endless anger. He raised his palm, and a dense poisonous mist surged. Suddenly, the entire palm of his hand was spread. The mysterious poisonous mist ripples converged and shot towards the location of Yaoyue. The whistling wind was incessant, and an ancient emerald green palm print descended from the sky. The void trembled, and even some aftermath scattered, and some surrounding peaks instantly turned into dust, and in the deep pit of thousands of meters, a suffocating poisonous mist fluctuated. Keeps lingering. Mirror of the cold moon. The Yaoyue Palace Master did not have any scruples about the old man who was in charge of the overall situation, but there was a hint of contempt on his lips. Now the big picture is under control. Everything is under control. Btth. The palm of the 4-layer reincarnation level powerhouse is enough to destroy the sky and the earth, but above this dead altar, a graceful figure emerges, and the slender jade hand carries a bright black mirror, appearing in the Yaoyue Palace before the Lord. The mirror flipped over, and the mysterious power spread out. Although there were a few cracks due to that terrifying attack, the attack was completely resisted. Leng Yu was also controlled. Palace Master, Leng Qingchen, the two poisonous girls and Xiao Yan looked at each other in dismay. They never imagined that things would develop to this point. Jingyue, what are your last words? The Yaoyue Palace Master flashed her long eyelashes, and immediately maintained an elegant posture, speaking to the remaining 7 people beside her. Xiao Yan, Zuner, the little medical fairy, the master of Jingyue Palace, the old man in charge of the overall situation, and the 2 poisonous girls of Lengyue Palace. Such 7 people are facing close to the top combat power in the Poison God Palace. If nothing else, just one person, the Leng Yu Palace Master, is enough to make them completely fail. Because of the strength of Palace Master Leng Yu, he has reached the 4th level of reincarnation. As tyrannical as the quadruple reincarnation level powerhouse will be controlled by it, it is conceivable that the strength of this Yaoyue is probably even more terrifying. Humph. Little Dr. Immortal and Jingyue looked at each other, and seemed to have expected this scene long ago. Immediately above their bodies, ancient green energy slowly overflowed. Master. Whether to kill them all. Leng Yu, including several powerhouses with reincarnation level strength, crawled beside the Yaoyue Palace Master, and cast a malicious look at Xiao Yan and the others. A poisonous insect crawled between their eyebrows. In addition to the strangeness of their eyes and the absorption of a lot of origin by the yellow insects before, they have now become the poisonous servants of Yaoyue. If they cannot defeat Yaoyue in a short time, they will be relieved. Control. I am afraid that after a long time, their only remaining soul will be completely eroded, and even Da Luo Jingxin will be helpless at that time. Actually, I'm curious, why do you still come to participate in the election when you know this is a conspiracy? Or, are you still unwilling to give up on the Supreme Elder Palace? It's a pity. It's a pity. The entire Poison God Palace has fallen into my hands. Even if you go to the Supreme Elder Palace, you still have my confidant guarding you. This time, I won. Yaoyue spoke softly and smiled. Maybe. Palace Master Jingyue did not refute. In today's Poison God Palace, there are only 3 Palace Masters with top fighting power, and none of the other powerhouses have more than the 4th level strength. In this election, the lives of Xiao Yishen and others are used as bargaining chips. In fact, the purpose is naturally to attract the top combat power of Yaoyu's men, and also to prepare for Xiao Yan to sneak into the elders of Taishan. Simply this time, the situation is not too bad. Btth. With a sound, the Yaoyue Palace Master raised his palm, and a celestial world burst out from the void cloud above the altar, pulling the 3 Palace Masters and the old man in charge of the overall situation into it together. Obviously, this guy wants a quick fix. Once the 2 of Jingyue Palace Master fell, the remaining few people may not be afraid. Xiao Yan, the Palace Master will send you out of here in a while. Seeing the shadows of the poisoned servants approaching, the huge pressure coming towards them brought them one step closer to death. Xiao Yixian couldn't help but say. Do not worry. Xiao Yan did not agree, but lightly patted the little doctor's shoulder with his palm, sending out an extremely majestic force. Sister Xiao Yishen, don't worry. Brother Xiao Yan, I'm here, you can rest assured. Zuner smiled sweetly, and the golden flames spread out all over her body, which actually made the speed of the surrounding poisonous servants slower. The devil, come back. Xiao Yan's aura changed rapidly, and his dark green eyes narrowed, staring at a cloud layer high above the altar. There seemed to be some very terrifying fluctuations in there, even the strange fluctuations, even in control these the power of the poison servant has the same effect. The fusion of blood and flesh, soul and body, an evil power that should not appear in the great thousand world at all, like a demon crawling out of the abyss, rising slowly. Puff puff puff. The power of the devil recovered from his body, and every time it surged in his limbs, it would shock Xiao Yan violently like a stream of molten blood. The power of the devil does not seem to have any upper limit, it will increase with the strength of Xiao Yan. Of course, the premise is that Xiao Yan can control and withstand the terrifying torture of the devil's power spreading all over his body. Otherwise, once he loses himself in this torture, even if he has the devil's cube, he can only be reduced to a killing demons. A dark green halo formed the ground, and just after it appeared, it sent out an extremely evil wave, causing the poisonous servants around to stop one after another, staring at Xiao Yan with awe in their eyes. Devil, endless evil. The demon Xiao Yan roared, and his entire body disappeared strangely. Bang bang bang. When Du appeared, he had already arrived in front of the strange cloud plane in the high altitude of the altar, rolled up the devil's fist, and threw his fist at the sky. With one punch, the endless clouds were scattered directly, and even the void where the clouds perched were smashed into a huge space nearly 100 meters long by the seemingly simple punch of the demon Xiao Yan. In the deep pit, a giant figure with a plump body slowly climbed out. On its body, countless yellow poisonous insects surrounded it, and those poisonous insects were collected by Yaoyue. Continuing from the previous episode 2352, God Eater Mother? The little medical fairy kept pushing the poison pill in his body, and the mysterious poisonous mist released covered Xiao Yan and the others. This kind of power allowed them to completely ignore the venom erosion of other powerhouses. The strange body formed by the body, on the pretty face of the little medical fairy, was pale for a while. The creatures in the deep pit are fat, and the huge body is like a finger. There are 10 segments in total. Above the whole yellow body, it seems to contain some kind of extremely terrifying power, even those who have absorbed many Poison God Palace powerhouses. The yellow bug of pure power actually slowly dormant in its body. At this time, this behemoth seems to be controlling these strange poisonous insects, trying to inhale the many poisonous servants controlled by Yaoyue below. This is the mother of insects, the essence, and the tyrannical means used by Lord Poison God to control the attack. Be careful, there will be many poisons guarding her. Those poisonous insects have already absorbed the original power of these guys. Once the body and soul are eaten away by them, I am afraid that all their power will be turned into their purest nourishment, and their body and spirit will be destroyed. The little doctor said vigilantly, although this majestic energy is enough to make the 3rd level or even the 4th level reincarnation rank powerhouse feel a while, but the strange fluctuations in the void seem to have more terrifying fluctuations. This guy, I'm afraid I want to use this thing to absorb the power of the people in the Poison God Palace below to form a cauldron to help myself break through the 5th order. After the demonization, Xiao Yan's strength has skyrocketed in a short period of time, and now he has reached the quasi-quadruple reincarnation level, so there is also a vague distinction about the strength of Yaoyue Palace Master and others. The 2 quadruple reincarnation rank, as for the strength of Yaoyue Palace Master, is more tyrannical than the ordinary quadruple reincarnation rank. The horror has reached the point where half a foot steps into the 5th rank. That kind of existence, even today the demonized Xiao Yan, was also extremely difficult to deal with. Boom! Just at the moment when everyone hesitated, the whole body of the god-devouring insect mother squirmed in the void, and several equally huge poisons emerged. Poison scale monster python, evil winged skybat, the ancient tree of 10,000 poison. 3 hidden and incomprehensible names poured out from the corner of Xiao Yishen's mouth, and the look on her pretty face was extremely ugly. 3 poisons of the triple reincarnation stage. Demon Xiao Yan frowned, and immediately the demonic power in his body began to roll, and countless demon seeds sprouted in his body little by little. The battle must be resolved quickly. The old man in charge of the overall situation and the strength of the Yaoyue Palace Master are absolutely impossible to be the opponents of Yaoyue and Leng Yue. Once they are defeated, I am afraid. Tear off. 3 poisonous substances poured out, and they turned out to be waving their huge body with open teeth and claws, glaring at the demon Xiao Yan. God Devourer Mother. 3 poisonous beasts. Quote. Lang Qingchen looked at each other, and there was a strong despair in their eyes. This level of power was beyond the scope of what they could handle. Impossible to win. Give up. After a long time, Leng Yuaning bit her silver teeth slightly, and then looked at Xiao Yan, who was the demon figure above the sky, and uttered a weak word. As the people of the Poison God Palace, no one knows the power of the three poisonous beasts better than them. They have long known that there will be some special mutations in the Poison God Palace, but who would have thought that all this would happen so quickly? And the reason for all this was actually because of Yaoyue Palace Master's maddening behavior? Try to use the powerhouses of the entire Poison God Palace to pave the way for your own Poison God. As for the Supreme Elder Palace, I am afraid that it has already been blocked by it. Today's Poison God Palace has become a poison pit, and will eventually explode with monstrous destructive power. Boom! At the high altitude of the altar, in the heaven where the four supreme powers exist, terrifying fluctuations continue to overflow, and it is obvious that the battle has reached a white-hot stage. And beside the god-eating insect mother below, the three poisonous beasts fluttered their teeth and claws, waving a sticky and pungent stench of poisonous mist, fearing the demon Xiao Yan beside them. The power of the devil is something you can easily compare to. Burn it! Demon Xiao Yan ignited dark green evil flames all over his body, and immediately raised his palms and pushed them out. Demonic flames full of strange power filled the air, paving the way for the entire altar, and slapped the three poisonous beasts unceremoniously. Past. Ow! The three poisonous beasts twisted their huge bodies, and set off three beams of monster light in this world, fighting them away. Boom! The energy attacks of the four came into contact, and terrifying energy ripples swept out, not only causing the unconscious poisonous servants to retreat, but even the void of this world became a lot distorted. Ho ho ho! A faint vigilance flashed in the huge pupils of the three poisonous beasts. The power of this human being is too strange, and it can easily take over the joint attack of the three of them? They are poisonous beasts that were cultivated by the poison god himself. Whether it is the power or strength of the poisonous mist, they are by no means comparable to ordinary poisonous beasts. Peeved. At the same time, the countless belly eyes of the god-devouring insect mother behind her flickered, and a very strange black light suddenly flashed across her yellow eyes. The black light flickered and roared at the demon Xiao Yan. Under the erosion of this power, the demon Xiao Yan developed in surprise. The extremely perfect holy flame and the source of the devil hidden in his body were slowly eroded by this power. Let's fight quickly. The demon Xiao Yan murmured slowly. The demonic power in his eyes suddenly turned into the source of countless demons, the dark green demonic pupils flickered, and the power in his body burst out like an abyss. When Xiao Yan first mastered the power of the devil, he knew little about the power of the devil, but now with the enhancement of Xiao Yan's strength, the control of the power of the devil has become more and more proficient. Devil Evil Mountain. Circles of dark green energy poured out of the demon Xiao Yan's body, and immediately gathered behind him. Immediately, on the body of the demon Xiao Yan, which was full of dark green evil hair and demon arms, a shocking mountain range, carrying some kind of evil power that surpassed the great world, came one after another. Ho ho ho! At this moment, because of the power released by the demon Xiao Yan, god-eating insect mother seemed to be provoked, and countless belly eyes slowly opened on her plump body. At the moment of opening, there was an extremely strange magic power, causing all the power in Zuner and others to temporarily fail, and the cold touch of death spread out uncontrollably. The power left by the poison god. The little doctor's immortal poison pill left the delicate body, his face turned pale, and he urged the holy pill of 10,000 poison to roar at him, as if he wanted to suppress the terrifying fluctuations in the god-devouring worm's mother. Believe him. Zuner didn't do anything, she just carried her hands on her back and released holy flames to protect the remaining four. Quote. As for Leng Qingchen and the two poisonous girls on the side, the shock in his heart could not be further increased. The eyes opened, the ancient mysterious power imprisoned the whole world, and immediately closed. A more profound and ancient poisonous fog power emerged, which turned into a magnificent gray-white stone hall, with a touch of Xian like the poison god. Power. Suppress the demon Xiao Yan. The brilliance of the devil, bloom. Demon Xiao Yan smiled faintly at this. All the demonic power poured out from his body, and the demonic mountain behind him filled with endless demonic brilliance, illuminating the whole world. At this moment, in the mountains around this altar square, all things lost all their life and brilliance, even the three terrifying poisonous beasts that appeared to protect the god-devouring mother, under the mighty eyes of the demon Xiaoyan. Their bodies trembled, and a fear from the depths of their souls occupied their minds. What kind of existence is that? You actually want to use your own strength to fight against the strongest poisonous beast with the strength of the three-headed triple reincarnation? Continuing from the previous episode 2353, the demon soul mountain gently fell from behind Xiaoyan, and the entire sky was suddenly filled with a cloud of turbidity, as if the entire world was reflected by its supreme magic. Under this kind of demon power, even the reincarnation-level powerhouses turned into ants as small and powerless in an instant. Feelings of panic, anxiety, and fear spread from the pupils of these poisoned servants under control, from the depths of their souls. It seems that under the terrifying magic power of the demon Xiaoyan, the power of the Yaoyue Palace Master's control has produced extremely serious fluctuations. Boom! God-devouring insect mother and three poisonous beasts roared together, and several forces turned out to form a gorgeous poisonous fog sickle. The poison mist scythe is more than 1,000 feet in size, and even if it is filled with an eroding poisonous mist that shakes the soul, it suddenly trembles under the reflection of the demon soul mountain. Ho-ho-ho! The three poisonous beasts seemed to be provoked, and the angry roar that shattered the sky sounded, and then the body turned into a real sharp blade and roared. It's ridiculous. Demon Xiaoyan stood in midair, keeping a distance from the heaven where the four people at the top of the sky were fighting, but looking at the actions of the three poisonous beasts not far away, a cold snort appeared on the corner of his mouth. Crack! The body of the demon Xiaoyan moved like a ghost, his fists wrapped with demonic power protruded out, and the three poisonous beasts fell into a pool of blood without any struggle. Suck it! The three poisonous beasts were obliterated by the power of the devil, and the dense poisonous mist spread, and they were completely absorbed by the devil Xiaoyan. After absorbing the power of the three poisonous beasts, the devil Xiaoyan increased the pressure on the devil soul mountain. Du resolved the 1,000-jong sickle shadow, and walked towards the god-devouring insect mother step by step. God-devouring insect mother is spiritual and wise, but Nai He's body is too large to move easily. At this time, looking at the demon Xiaoyan, whose body is covered with deadly venom and scarlet blood, a sense of panic spreads out. The whole fat body could not stop trembling. Boom! Without the slightest hesitation, the fist rose and fell, and this ancient and sacred poisonous beast was brutally brutalized by the devil Xiaoyan. Peefed! When the demon Xiaoyan beat the god-eating insect mother to death, two bodies suddenly fell from the sky. Palace Master Leng Yu, and the old man who presided over the overall situation. They died, their bodies and spirits were destroyed, and even the whole body was pitch black, and there was no trace of power, as if all the vitality and power in the body had been drained by something. Peefed! Immediately, the Palace Master Jingyue sprayed out a mouthful of scarlet blood, and immediately his delicate body was out of control, and quickly fell to the ground, his breath was dying. Jingyue, the three of us have struggled for so long, and I finally won. A faint voice sounded from the edge of the heaven, and immediately a figure that looked extremely evil stood in the sky, and was slowly announcing everything with a victorious attitude. Crack! An irresistible tyrannical wave surged out, and the body of the demon Xiaoyan was directly shaken back. Immediately, the god-devouring insect mother, who was seriously injured, returned to the side of the Yaoyue Palace Master. Little guy, the next thing is our world. Yao Yu's eyes were filled with a frenzy, and she immediately sucked the blood from her mouth, and the stagnant power in her body suddenly became restless. Peefed! Zuner and Xiaoyishen rescued Xiaoyan and Jingyue successively. The four of them stood on the ground of the altar with extremely complicated eyes. We must cut off the connection between Yaoyue and God-devouring insect mother, otherwise, once they are fused with each other, we have no chance of winning. In the eyes of the demon Xiaoyan, there is a dark green demon blood light condensed, and the power of the demon is suffocating. In that case, yes, but until this moment, the pale face of Palace Master Jingyue couldn't help but show a hint of sarcasm. Originally, he was planning to use the election of the poison god as a guide to mobilize Yaoyu's full attention, hand over the top immortal fighting skills to Xiao Yan, and then go to the Supreme Elder Palace to wake up the Supreme Elder. All these problems will be solved easily. But he neglected Yao Yu's strength and ambition. For the victory of this election, Yao Yue surrounded the altar with many of her elites. There were few defenses at the Supreme Elder Palace, but she was negligent, and gathering their strength could not stop Yao Yue. The old man who was in charge of the overall situation joined forces with himself, and even added Leng Yu, who had lost his way halfway through and became desperate, and the combined power of the three could not shake Yao Yu. Palace Master Jing Yue, this is the scroll you gave me. I'm not familiar with Taishang Elder Palace. It seems that I can only invite you for a trip. A dark green flame began to burn in the demon Xiao Yan's chest, and the majestic demon power began to boil and roll, as if there was endless power pouring out, enough to compete with this world. Blood and flesh, soul and body, are all filled with a supreme evil force that is enough to disdain the world, but even this kind of force is still a lot of distance away from the calm Yao Yue above the sky. Then, you'll die. I don't know why. Listening to the words of the demon Xiao Yan in front of him, Palace Master Jing Yu's heart suddenly viciously fluctuated, as if something was touched. Once upon a time, I was also a proud girl who did not believe in heaven and earth, but with a few of them, to deal with such a half-step 5-layer reincarnation-level powerhouse, there is no chance of winning at all. It was nothing but suicide. Are there any other options? Demon Xiao Yan stared directly at Yao Yue, who was smiling and sarcastic above the sky, and suddenly found a piece of crystal silver snowflakes falling beside this guy. In the snowflakes, there is no deadly poisonous fog power. On the contrary, it contains a touch of ice power that surpasses the extreme cold of 10,000 years. The snowflakes fell and twisted at will. The countless poisonous servants below had no time to escape, and they were instantly condensed into ice. The vitality and the remaining soul power in the body were slowly suppressed by their seals, and they were immediately guided by them one after another. Under it, it was projected into the belly of the god-devouring insect mother. This is my other power, ice. Why are you doing so much useless work? I've been trapped in the half-step 5th layer for countless years now. The reincarnation of the poisonous god, holy flames and other forces are pouring out, and with the power in these ants, breaking through the 5th layer is just a matter of course. It's so far, let's catch it. A steady stream of ice-sculpted figures kept pouring into the god-eating insect mother. Suddenly, the god-eating insect mother, which had already been beaten by the demon Xiao Yan, regained its vitality and even absorbed countless figures in her body. The pure power of, actually slowly flowed towards Yao Yu's body. When Yao Yu's body touched these powers, her power became boiling almost instantly, an extremely tyrannical aura, which had already surpassed the peak of this world, and the clouds in the entire sky had also begun. Weird squirming. One after another terrifying and strange thunderclouds began to dense, began to roll, and began to brew. The terrifying fluctuations contained in it turned out to make the demon Xiao Yan feel an unprecedented heart palpitation. The reincarnation calamity of the 5th layer reincarnation order is coming? Continuing from the previous episode 2354. Boom! Heart-shattering thunderous roar resounded, and there was no rest in the entire void, except for the vast ancient clouds that sprung up at the top of this piece of heaven and earth. The power of ice and snow spread, and unexpectedly replaced all the poisonous mist on the altar of Poison God Square in an instant. Obviously, this Yao Yue Palace Master never thought about stopping from the very beginning. Not only did she want to use the life essence of everyone present to help herself pass through the 5th stage, but she also tried to use these mysterious powers of ice to capture the holy flame and the 10,000 poison holy pills. In her eyes, the Poison God Palace has long been in her own pocket. Even the few Supremes in the Supreme Elder Palace are secretly imprisoned by herself. Prepare. Several of you, feel the near-death well. Yao Yue has transformed from a graceful princess into a madman. In order to prevent the demon Xiao Yan and the little doctor immortal with the seal of reincarnation from destroying his perfect plan, this guy is ready to use the power of the Xeon Ice attribute to prevent all future troubles. Once she is the first to survive the calamity of reincarnation, or the demon Xiao Yan and others have completely fallen, she will be the final winner. The reason why he used the strongest power to deal with Xiao Yan and the others was because this guy was afraid of the unheard of power in Xiao Yan, and he was afraid of the reincarnation seal in the body of the little doctor. In order to prevent future troubles, she would not hold any hands. You are very strong. The power of poison art is unmatched in the world, and the ice attribute hidden in the body contains some ancient fluctuations. You have won. At this moment, Rao's Palace Master Jingyue, who has always been calm and composed, and a sense of powerlessness poured out of his body. I control everything in the Poison God Palace, and I also control the strongest top immortal arts in the Poison God realm. Let me sing the elegy of ice for you and completely cover you. Immediately, a crazy voice emerged, and the god-devouring insect mother slowly devoured those poisonous servants under control, and the pure power was transported to Yaoyue. Rising like a bright moon. Top immortal art. At this moment, Xiao Yixian's serious and pretty face suddenly had a hint of coldness and fear. Top immortal arts. This is the strongest power under the *** rank, whether it is a practice technique or a fighting skill. The power is definitely not something that can be easily described by human beings. Even the forbidden arts in the kingdom of angels can be compared with the top immortal arts in the world, but there are very few people who can create and use this level of power alone. Perhaps the great powers of the ghost world, with the blessing of the evil soldiers of the ghost world, can exert themselves at the first or second level of reincarnation, but how many people are there with this kind of talent? The majesty and mysterious power of the top immortal arts cannot be doubted, let alone offended. Whether it is holy flame, reincarnation, or even Xiaoyan's power after incarnation of a demon, all power will appear as small and ridiculous as grains of sand under the top immortal arts. All the power will be turned into powder under the prestige of the top immortal arts, and the body and spirit will be destroyed. You, what are you doing? Above the sky, more and more ice silks began to gather. The power contained in them made everyone tremble, but Jingyue saw the demon Xiao Yan, Zuner and Xiao Yishan looking at each other. There is no fear in the eyes. The three did not answer, but the roaring reincarnation within their bodies was enough to prove their actions. Although I'm not sure whether this guy can successfully display it, but if this top immortal technique comes, the entire Poison God Palace will be gone. This guy is doing this, not only to use these powers to break through the fifth layer, but also to absorb the power of reincarnation, holy flames, etc. that devour our bodies. She really wants to create a new kingdom. This is the hometown of the Poison God. As the inheritance of the Poison God, I have the right to protect this place, even if it is broken. The little Dr. Immortal smiled lightly, and in the gentle smile, the reincarnation seal and poison pill, as well as an ancient small cauldron, began to shake violently. You have no idea how terrifying Yayu's strength is. Now she has gathered the power to control more than half of the Poison God Palace, brewing top immortal arts, and has the blessing of the god-devouring insect mother. You have no obligation to face an enemy that you can't win at all. You should understand now. Let's go. Until the reincarnation robbery clouds above the sky completely converged, an endless roar of anger suddenly burst out from the face of Palace Master Jingyue. Half-step fifth order, there is still a chance of life, but if the real fifth order, or top immortal art comes, they will not have any chance. Because the top immortal art scroll that he gave to Xiao Yan was only a half-finished product. In the entire Poison God Palace, the only people who can perform top immortal arts with their own power are those from the Supreme Elder Palace. Can't win at all? I do not understand. In the eyes of the devil, there is never backing down and running away. There is just endless killing. If she is really invincible, why should she control so many Poison God Palaces? Why do you want to use top immortal arts at all costs? She seems to be afraid of something. If you can't resist, then kill it. Behind the demon Xiao Yan, the demon's phantom began to emerge, and at the same time, the powers such as the Eye of the Clan Mark and the Holy Flame in the body converged together. Yeah, when did I stop believing in the prophecy of fate? To win. As soon as the voice fell, Jingyue stepped out with her seriously injured body and the top immortal art under the half-finished product, strung into the void, and left towards the Supreme Elder Palace. If he was seriously injured, staying here would only add to the casualties. Tianzhao Gai, trying to escape under the nose of this seat is too self-sufficient. Jingyue just disappeared, and a suffocating suffocation with endless ice roared away to the position where the void was closed. Crack. Your opponent is me. The demon Xiao Yan stepped forward, and the demon's palm was covered with countless demon bloodlights, which completely shattered his attack with one palm. And I. Two light voices sounded faintly in this world, followed by two majestic breaths of ancient vicissitudes. Tear. The slender jade raised his hand and swept it towards the neat eyebrows. The sound of the reincarnation seal being torn out, and immediately two almost illusory ancient figures fell off their eyebrows, gently lingering in the two behind Dao Zhao's body. Although the two bodies are illusory, the power and power contained in them have already surpassed the heavens and the earth. Poison God Xuan, 9 Profound Fire Lord. Looking at the two ancient bodies, the Ice Emperor, who possesses the power of extreme cold, actually had a deep fear in his pupils. Brother Xiao Yan, let's do it. Xiao Yan, I'll leave the rest to you. The voice stopped abruptly immediately. Countless mysterious ripples ignited above the two delicate bodies, and suddenly whizzed away towards the demon moon. Ju Zan Hoju, this is our own family business, you are going to kill yourself. There is also the poison god Xuan. This seat has followed you for many years. I have devoted myself to the poison god palace. When you fell, you actually wiped out the 10,000 poison pill and poison god cauldron. This time, I will take back everything that belongs to me. I will redo the rules of the entire poison god realm. I will become the new poison god, and let the poison god palace under my leadership become the true overlord of the entire demon world. Ha ha ha! Yayue let out a low roar, her silver-white hair fell, and behind her, it seemed like there was an ancient palace of ice standing, slowly gushing out. In the ice palace, the bearer had a majestic aura that smashed the world, and just filled the air. It turned out that the whole world was filled with a very serious swaying and distorted feeling.